Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's been about 8 or 9 days since I made a video, and I just got back from Breckenridge and Vail out in Colorado skiing. And I had done this whole thing where I used my phone to vlog, which it did a great job, by the way. And I was gonna like do a vlog and take pictures and show it as I vlogged, but I just didn't feel like it was interesting, and I didn't feel like you guys would have watched it, and I don't know. And so I decided to instead talk about what confirmation that I got while I was out there, and the whole like degassing journey, or at least the understanding of my photographic needs. Because if you're like me, it might be a little interesting. But before I do that, I want to run through just a handful of pictures that I took here on the trip, and I'll explain to you what cameras I brought, what my strategy was, and then kind of where I'm thinking from here. So here's some pictures. All right, so most of those were shot on this little guy right here, the Ricoh GR3, which I picked up, I don't know, maybe right at the end of December, early January. And I told you guys my strategy was to kind of pick one camera for everything, because one of the things I realized was that I go through different feelings of photography. So like, for example, I want something very, very capable. And then all of a sudden I want something very small and kind of get out of the way. And then I'll want to enjoy the experience. And this is what I'm going to talk about: experience versus results. And I noticed part of the gas cycle you guys might be going on is, you know, you want this like ultimate organic experience. And for me, that is a Leica, and specifically it's shooting film. And the reason why that is because a film camera like this Nikon FE2 right here, it doesn't allow you for any distractions. It demands that you be in the moment. And it's like you're making something. It's almost like, you know, when you cock the advanced lever, it's a very, I don't know how to say, like a very analog or a very mechanical feel. And so you get in here and you look at your meter, and you have to, you know, understand the meter wants to push everything to gray. And so if you're shooting snow, you have to overexpose by like 2 stops. Or if you're shooting black, it requires your full attention. It requires your manual focus. It's not fast, right? But what I love about this is it allows me to stay in the moment and allows me to focus on the photography. And I'm looking through an OVF, so I feel like I'm there. I like that a lot. However, on the flip side, that experience is not necessarily giving me the best results. Film is not the sharpest, and manually focusing has a lot of inaccuracies. Using older lenses, sometimes it's just not as, the lenses aren't as sharp, or there's other issues with them. And so if you're going to be shooting a sporting event or portraits for somebody that, you know, a wedding, you'd want something like the Sony A7C too. And so I brought that along with me as well to Denver / Vail / Breckenridge. And I brought the 55 1.8 and also those 20 millimeter 1.8 that I'm recording this on right now. And there were instances during that trip where only this camera could have got me the result. This picture right here is from Breckenridge. We did a horse carriage ride up the mountain at night. It was super dark. The only camera I owned that could have done this job was the Sony. The GR would not have focused. The depth of field would have not have been as pleasing. The 1.8 aperture on the lens helped versus the 2.8 aperture on here. The full frame sensor helped. Only that camera could have gotten it. Now, you guys might have a Canon or a Nikon that does something similar, but my point is, in my arsenal of cameras today, that is the only camera that could have got the job done. And so it was the perfect tool for the job. But after that event, when I was out skiing, the Sony never came out again. And I used explicitly or exclusively only this GR3. And this was the perfect camera for that situation. So what I did is I had a chest pack on my body while I was skiing. I had this thing right here, and I would go out and I would see some photos. I would shoot raw, again, set the exposure to like 0.7 or +1 because of the white snow, and I would just shoot some snaps, and it was perfect for that. Just go on, boom, hammer it, be done, and then put it back away, and that was it. Perfect. Now my cell phone could have done the similar thing. They're getting pretty good, but I really enjoy the grip, and I like, you know, the fact that this has a APS-C sensor and all that good stuff in it. And so this was the perfect job while I was out there. By the way, I did drop this a couple times. I don't know if I can get this to focus right here. Will this focus up my face in the way? See in the corner? Yeah, it's dropped. And also right here, you guys see in the corner? Yeah, it survived. That's just the IBIS mechanism, I think. But nonetheless, my point is that this was the perfect camera. And so I had the perfect camera for that stable shot with the horses, and then I had the perfect camera for while I was out skiing. And not once did I ever wish I had a Leica or my film cameras, my Nikon. I almost brought those because it would not have worked for either of those situations unless I brought flash and then there's that. No, not the right thing. But in saying that, when I'm shooting just for me, when it's just for fun, I'm really, really starting to enjoy the film process a lot more. And in fact, I've been shooting daily uploads on Instagram, and I'm going to stop that or pause that today because what I've realized is that it forces me to like create an image that, and it almost creates like this like work feel around photography, and that's not what I'm going for anymore. Kind of like gas has always kind of created a work feel for me. I don't really enjoy it. And so I'm going to pause that. I'm shooting a lot of film. I've got a roll of portrait in here that I haven't developed yet, and I'll catch up, I guess, with my daily uploads at some point. But I'm really just taking the time to enjoy the process. And one thing I am going to get is I'm looking for a Leica MP, a used one. I found one. I pulled the trigger on, and we'll see if it comes in. It's not too beat up because I really enjoy focusing with the rangefinder. And I've always said, if you go back to my old Leica videos where I had the M10, the M240, the M262, the M8, I've always said that Leicas, to me, always felt like film cameras. And so that's where I'm headed. But I say all that to kind of show you guys that if you're suffering from gas, I think you need to understand what's important to you if you're an experienced person or results person. I have a friend, they don't care if the camera's made out of plastic and if it's cheap feeling, as long as it's got amazing autofocus and 48 stops dynamic range. That's not me. The dynamic range and all that crap does not really matter to me. It's more about how does the experience feel? How do I feel holding and shooting the camera? And then sometimes I have to put that secondary to get the result based on what I'm doing. For example, I'm going to my daughter's cheerleading competition this weekend. This probably won't be the right camera. But that camera, the Sony, will be. So I'll bring that. I think if you want to set yourself up for success on this journey through photography, you need to pick, if you have the funds to do it, pick a couple different cameras that are like bookends on the different niches. I've said this before, but I came back from Colorado and I was just like, that is absolutely the right move for me anyways. The other thing I want to talk about is I did order some 120 film to put in this Rolleiflex. Again, this was a gift to me. This was a gift to me as well. This is a Olympus Stylus Epic Zoom 80. So I'm going to run some film through this. I'm going to shoot a lot more film. I think this channel might go a lot more film focused in the near future. This has not been CLA'd yet. I looked at the shutter and it all seems to have the right shutter speeds. It can focus, all that stuff. It's just the mirror and stuff inside the box or whatever you call this. It's really corroded. So eventually I'll have to get this redone. But I bought a test roll of some cheap 120 black and white film. I'm going to run through this and maybe I'll make a video about that for you guys. Show the results. Same thing with this. I got to see if this works. This is my father-in-law's old film camera. He's not sure it works anymore. It looks like it should. We'll run through some film through that. And again, some more on the Nikon, and then a Leica MP. Turning into a film channel, that's weird. It's not what I expected. But to say all that, I would never ever get rid of my Sony and never ever get rid of my GR anymore. After all these years, I've realized that these two cameras fill the void or the niche that I need for certain situations. And there is not a better camera than the Ricoh GR for pocket point and shoot. Others come close. Fuji X70, LX100, FE2, they come close. They do. That's true. There is not a better small, full frame, fully capable camera, in my opinion, than the Sony A7C II. The autofocus is fantastic. The sensor is fantastic. They made enough changes to the EVF, the grip, and the dials to make it better than the original A7C. It's awesome. I could argue that a Canon R8 would be great too because it's small. Any modern full frame mirrorless camera from Nikon, Sony, Canon, whoever is going to be excellent. But for me, I really like the A7C II, and I'm not changing from that. I really have no desire to change anything. It's just to experiment with these film cameras and have some fun and enjoy the experience. And then when the time arises where I can't screw around and fart around with these film cameras, I have the two other digital cameras that I need. So I say all that to tell you guys, again, just understand if you're in this constant gas journey, have a couple different options. Think about what you're going to do and just go shoot. Just go shoot. I'm having a lot of fun. I'll come back with some results from on this FE2. I've got about 7 more shots left for this roll to be completed. And then we'll talk about the Leica MP, and we'll get a roll through this Rolleiflex. It's kind of what we're thinking for the next month of videos or so. I'll see you guys in the next one. I got to get back to work, and I will update you guys shortly. See ya.